Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video we're going to see a brilliant attack which the 13th World Chess Champion Garry Kasparov organized when facing the Sicilian Dragon. In this game, Kasparov's opponent is Dutch chess grandmaster Jeroen Piket, and the game was played in 1989 in Tilburg at the 13th Interpolis. Kasparov was playing with the white pieces opened up with e4, and as you already know, we have a Sicilian defense, and soon we will see the Dragon variation. Knight f6 by Piket, knight c3, and the Dragon is on the board. Bishop e3, bishop g7, f3, knight c6, queen d2, black castles kingside, and we have the Yugoslav attack with bishop c4. Another popular alternative is castling queenside straight away, but the idea of playing bishop c4 is not to allow d5 advancement by black. Bishop d7, h4, this can opener is marching forward. White wants to open up the h-file, exchange the dark squared bishops, make black's kingside vulnerable, and announce a checkmate. This is how white's attack looks like in theory, but in practice everything is not so easy. Bishop b3, rook c8, and white castles queenside, knight c4, we have bishop takes c4, rook takes c4, h5, white is sacrificing a pawn but is managing to open up the h-file, knight f6 and bishop h6. Well, in here, playing knight de2 is something which is also worth taking into consideration. This is what Anatoly Karpov played in 1974 against Viktor Korchnoi. Definitely we should also cover that famous game, but in our game we have bishop h6, which steps into this knight takes e4 move. Of course, all this is a theory seen many times. Black's idea is simple. With this knight takes e4 move, black is opening up the bishop's diagonal, want to grab white knight. Here we have queen e3, which is the best theoretical move, and rook takes c3. It turns out that already in this position, the only move which is allowing black to keep the balance is that exchange sacrifice. Otherwise, if a move like knight takes c3, then bishop takes g7 is coming, and if a move like rook takes d4, then after rook takes d4, knight takes c3, again white can go for bishop takes g7, and to knight e2 check, white can respond with king b1, and it's over, guys. White is winning. With a beautiful queen jump, white can finish up black. That's why in our game we have the standard exchange sacrifice in Sicilian Dragon. Rook takes c3, b takes c3, and black knight is returning back. This knight is very tricky, right? First grab the pawn on h5, then on e4, and then returned back. Bishop takes g7. So white already managed to open up the h-file. Now is managing to exchange the dark squared bishops, and all white now needs to do is to announce a checkmate. Rook h2 by Kasparov and rook h8. I have to tell you that this position was also seen in 1971 in a game played between Yefim Geller and Viktor Korchnoi, where Korchnoi played queen a5. I guess Kasparov knew about that game, and all in all I think that Kasparov is still in his preparations. Rook h8 was played in our game. By the way, moves like bishop takes g4 is not good, because after f takes g4, knight takes g4, instead of moving his queen, white can announce a venomous check from f5, and if you accept the knight sacrifice, then this queen g5 check is coming, followed by rook takes h7, and white is announcing a checkmate. There it goes, guys. We have a checkmate on the board, a beautiful line which was worth of mentioning. But in our game we have rook h8. Yes, black is strengthening his pawn on h7, and knight b3 by Kasparov. Bishop c6, g5, knight h5, f4. So all in all we have an equal game. Black managed to strengthen his position, despite the fact that white has an exchange up, but black is holding and has a very firm position. Rook e8, f5, queen b6, knight d4, queen c5, rook e1, bishop d7, queen f3, bishop c6. In here the players repeated the moves, and only after queen f3, bishop c6, we have queen f2, king g8, rook e3. We have maneuvering by both sides, and it was after bishop takes d5 that Kasparov already landed a heavy punch and he went for an exchange sacrifice. After several maneuvers, finally we see the second exchange sacrifice in this game. G takes h5. Again, I have to tell you that both rook takes c3 and rook takes h5 are very standard sacrifices in Sicilian Dragon. Queen h4, it turns out that the exchange sacrifice is the only way of breaking into pieces the dragon formation. And queen c4 by Piket, which is losing on the spot. Well, according to Stockfish, here it's better to play e5 with the idea of moving away the king from the dangerous king side. If queen takes h5, then king f8, and if you play f6, cutting the escaping route, then rook c8. Again, all the time black is creating escaping routes for his king. If queen takes h7, then king e8. If g6, then king d7. White has an advantage, but still black is holding, and the position remains highly complex. But in our game, after queen h4, we have queen c4. Piket failed to find the best defensive line, and now he will lose very quickly. Queen takes h5 by Kasparov. Now all he needs is to play rook h3 and announce that desired checkmate. Queen f1 check, king b2, e5, queen h6. Kasparov is first taking under control this f8 square, not allowing black king to escape, and only after king h8 we have g6. By the way, I have to tell you that rook h3 is also winning, though by giving up his queen and then capturing on d4, black is managing to prolong his resistance, but though still this is also going to be winning for white. But in our game, after king h8 we have g6, which leaves black no chance to survive. F takes g6, f takes g6. Now we have a direct mating threat, that's why rook e7 was played, and as we have reached the critical position, please pause the video and try to find the winning move for white. Ready? Now if it weren't this queen on f1, which is controlling the f8 square, white could announce a check and then could win black rook. That's why Kasparov played rook f3, made a blockading move with the idea of if bishop takes f3, then queen f8 checkmate. In here Piket played queen c4, but after queen f8 check he resigned. Yes, he's losing his rook and the game as well. A move like queen takes a2 won't give you anything. White king is in safety and checkmate is just a matter of moves. That's why after queen f8 check we have a resignation. A very interesting and instructive game by Kasparov. Those who are facing dragon variation frequently, I would recommend you to explore this game carefully. In the end, a chess puzzle for you, where the task is to find the winning move for white. I will wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Here are more suggestions for you. Feel free to check them out as well. I will see you in my next video. Take care.